I wanna bury you in 6 feet of sugar. I wanna watch you come back to me. With every step I pray it doesn't rain. My own Candy Mountain.
Welcome to this episode of Junk Food on the Road. Today we are going to talk about
Cambodia.
This
is we have a bit of a different take on this one because we've actually been living here for like
2 years.
2 years. So I don't know why we didn't do this sooner.
I don't know.
I think part of it was we wanted to sort of experience a bit.
I think we wanted to wait a year to sort of get a good view, and then it just sort of
ballooned.
We forgot.
Well, we've been busy traveling other places, as you'd know if you listened to past episodes. So we'll talk about Cambodia.
Yep.
Part of the inspiration why I got inspired to do this was, we'll start off with sort of the thing that happened most recently, is I ate a lot of bugs.
Yeah.
So bugs are a sort of well-known Cambodian, sort of this area of Asia as well, but Cambodia is really well known for the bugs.
Yeah. Cambodia has a lot of street food, and at every sort of street food area you see, like all these little carts, there will be one cart at least with bugs, a variety of bugs.
And we've been to Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Laos.
We've been a lot of places in Asia.
And I've seen bugs for sale, but here I see them for sale in a way that seems like they're actually not a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of places you sort of see a scorpion on a stick and some dude trying to sell it to you for $10. But here it's just like these piles of crickets and silkworms. And there's generally frogs and little birds and stuff.
Baby frogs.
Baby frogs and stuff like that.
And duck fetuses.
Yeah, duck. Well, yeah.
Like duck eggs with the partially developed duck in them.
Yeah, but it's real food.
Yeah,
it's people
eat that. People eat them.
I mean, part of the thing that we'll talk about is like we basically had this insane weekend where we just you'll see there's an episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That? Our last episode.
Chris and Linda, Why Would You Eat That?
Where we had the spider. So Linda came and she likes to have fun when she's eating and eat some crazy stuff. And so we sort of, that weekend I took advantage.
We went to this restaurant that's well known.
For selling spider.
For its spider, but it also sells other bug dishes.
Yeah, so one of the fun things about that thing is you get like a bug in your food and
it's part of it.
It's part of it, or maybe it's just a spill off from somebody else's.
Yeah. So Chris and Linda ate tarantula, deep fried tarantula.
Deep fried tarantula, ants, and
Linda had red tree ant stew.
Yeah, it was with beef. I had some of that too.
And then they got a plate of crickets and.
That's all there really was.
There were supposed to be 3 things, but they gave you extra crickets because they were out of baby frog.
Yeah, and there was something else with it. I don't really remember. But then also we went and we got crickets again and some silkworms on a boat.
Yeah, we took a ferry to this little island, and it was just a little local ferry. And there was a lady selling crickets and silkworms on it. And even the tuk-tuk driver that we had with us, he got some.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a normal thing that people pick up and eat for snacks.
And so, I'll give you the basic overview from what I found. The silkworms are the most popular thing here, and I agree with them. They were the tastiest thing that I had at that time. The spider was pretty good. It was a lot better. I was told that the body was kind of gross, but it actually was okay.
And the head? The
head was normal. It just creeped me out. Probably because the fangs are on it, so it just kind of creeped me out. The eating the fangs. I guess they take them off, but that creeped me out.
As an arachnophobe, the whole thing creeped me out.
Crickets, we had good crickets and bad crickets. They dry out really easily, so sometimes they're just really dry.
I got a pork dish, and it had a cricket leg in it, and that was the end of the pork dish for me.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I also had a vegetarian dish that didn't have any insect parts in it.
There you go. But yeah, so I would say if you have the opportunity to try bugs, if you can mentally get over it, they're actually pretty tasty, but it's a mental thing. It's definitely a mental thing. I've also had like cricket flour or cricket meal chocolate bars and a couple other things too. So bugs aren't new to me, but in Cambodia it's very bug centered in when you eat the bugs. Like you're just eating the bug. It's not like hidden in flour or something like that.
And you can find like it's pretty easy to tell the difference between the carts that are there for tourists and the carts that are there for Cambodian people to eat.
Yeah.
Basically, the ones for tourists are sitting, sort of outside of tourist restaurant areas. And the ones for Cambodian people are like part of sort of the street food carts that you see in those.
Although you don't see too many tourist ones.
In Siem Reap you do.
In Siem Reap you do, but in Phnom Penh you don't. No. So I mean, yeah, bugs. What the other thing?
Pepper.
Cambodia is very famous for its pepper.
Kampot pepper. And it's quite. I have some friends who are like they don't work as chefs for a living, but they could be world-class chefs, and they swear by Kampot pepper.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, and they sell it here. There's a dish in that you can get by the water, by the ocean. There's a little bit of coastline here, called kep pepper crab, and it's actually sprigs of pepper with like the peppercorns still on them, undried, like they're just fresh, and they're cooked in this kep pepper crab dish with, of course, crab. And as an arachnophobe, again, I'm not really interested.
The one thing, I mean, but it is worth mentioning that fresh pepper is something that I had never tried until we lived here, and man, is it good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, you eat it like almost like a fruit. Like, you don't have to, it's not as strong, but it's still got a peppery flavor, and it's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, when you bite into a black pepper, you sort of get that, you instant regret.
But when it's still green.
When it's still green, it's very tasty.
Yeah.
So, that's definitely.
We made the mistake of buying a whole kilo of it and didn't know what to do with it.
It was in our freezer.
But it was like,
I think it's all dried out in our freezer now.
Yeah, I think so.
So.
Well, we use most of it. Like, I think we only have about 200 or 300.
And I think it cost us like $2.
No, it was more than that.
Okay. Well,
but it was less than 10.
Yeah. So.
US dollars.
Yeah. Which you probably couldn't even get Kampot pepper for that.
And as for the cuisine here, I mean, everything here is sweet. Because even, like, savory dishes have a crap load of sugar and fish sauce in it. And I'm allergic to fish and seafood. And so I don't eat anything Cambodian, except every once in a while I find a vegetarian version of their national dish that's actually made without fish sauce. I've eaten vegetarian amok with fish sauce as well and paid the price, but I have found it without fish sauce, and it's amazing.
How would you describe an amok?
Oh, how would I describe an amok? It's a very, very chunky, like the vegetables, or I've had chicken amok as well in Laos, which was a little bit different, but it's like really tender stewed meat and vegetables, just very lightly sauced with this like creamy, slightly curried, but with not curry spices. It's a different kind of spices sauce. And it's just, the way they do the medley of flavors is really good.
Yeah, the spicing here is very good. I mean, I've had a few other Cambodian dishes, some street food stuff, and it's all amazing. And like, you walk down the street often and the smells are really good. Mm-hmm. But it's just...
And they do a lot of good and different dried fruits and stuff, too. Like they have the banana chips, but there's a bunch of the other stuff that you get.
The interesting thing I think part of the thing about the dried chips and dried fruit here is a bit of it is a novelty for me. Yeah. Like the bananas are these smaller bananas, so they have a bit of a different texture when you crunch them. And
you can get salted dried bananas, which are really good.
Yeah.
It's not just the sugar ones that you get back home.
Yeah, so definitely the dried fruit is good here because it's good fruit. I mean, you won't find apples or anything.
No, but you find other stuff which is like dried papaya and dried
mango
and
durian.
Lots of durian.
Yeah, I guess durian's another thing we could talk about. Durian here is very popular.
Yeah.
And every single grocery store you go into, it smells of durian probably all year. I'm starting to lose it a little.
Yeah, I don't notice it as much anymore.
If I'm standing next to where they're selling it, I'll smell it. But I won't it isn't, the general odor does not waft upon me the same way it used to when we first got here. So.
No, it doesn't smell as pungent to us anymore.
Having said that, we had some in our house a while back, and I could smell it in our house.
Well, it was wrapped up in paper, and then thoroughly taped up, and then wrapped in plastic wrap, and then put in a plastic bag. And we had our bedroom door closed, and it was in our kitchen, and the smell woke us up at about 3:00 in the morning, and we had to put it out in the balcony because we couldn't sleep because it was so stinky.
Yeah. So durian is definitely. I mean, if you haven't had it, it tastes like, to me, like rotten onions and.
It doesn't have a horrible
rubber.
taste, and the texture is really nice and creamy. It's quite sweet.
Yeah.
I don't do sugar, but I'd had a bite.
The smell is pretty rank.
The smell is what really turns you off.
If you pinch your nose and eat it, you're okay. But the minute you unpinch your nose for the next day, it'll hit you. So, but yeah. So.
And then there's my favorite street side snack.
Trying to.
Lotus seeds.
Lotus seeds. Allison loves lotus seeds.
So yummy.
So lotus seeds are, if you've seen a lotus flower, there's a bottom portion that has like where the stem attaches, and inside it are these little pod-like seeds, and then there's a thin skin on each one, and you can eat the thin skin, but it makes it more bitter. But if you peel it off, then it's
buttery.
I kind of think it tastes a little bit like peas.
A little bit like peas, but like not quite. Like they're a little bit softer, and they're a little bit butterier.
Maybe.
But they are sort of like raw peas.
Yeah.
Like raw peas in a pod.
And we put it in a stir fry once, and it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. But to me, that's a waste of lotus seeds because they're just so yummy on their own.
Yeah, well, we never managed. Like,
We
whenever
never get through that. We always, like, you buy them in, like, there's 3 pods to
a bouquet.
A bouquet when you buy them. It's like for 50 cents, and you're like, oh man, like, there's only because you have to pull them out of the pod, and there's probably about, what, 10 or 15
At least,
seeds
yeah.
in each pod. And you're like, we'll get through this in no time, but I don't know. I think there's just so much work involved in getting each seed out that we always manage to, like, not eat, probably a small handful.
Yeah.
And we end up having to throw away because it's gone rotten.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing I'll say about, there is definitely some Cambodian food, which is kind of interesting because when I first got here, I had a really hard time identifying it. But there's definitely a lot of influence from Laos and Thailand,
and even China.
And China for sure.
You can get turkey paw.
Yeah. A lot of.
You haven't lived till you've seen a gigantic bird's claw in a vacuum sealed bag with some kind of liquid surrounding it.
Yeah.
It's called turkey's paw.
Yeah. And they sell a lot of chicken feet and stuff like that on the street food as well.
Yeah, and there's the dried fish stuff, and there's lots of things like shrimp crackers and other seafood crackers.
Chips seem fairly popular here too.
Chips are quite popular.
Chocolate bars are I think a lot of foreigners eat chocolate bars, but I don't think a lot of Cambodians eat chocolate bars.
It's not really the right weather for chocolate bars.
Yeah.
It would just melt.
Yeah, so there is chocolate sections, but it's almost all.
The cookies are really good.
I think there was a lot of Chinese influence in the cookies.
Well, what about those cookies that we got at the Kep Market?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Cookies that actually kind of melt in your mouth. It's really weird, but really yummy.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of French influence here too.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing is you'll actually see people riding bikes and selling bread and things like that, and they call it pain, which is basically French for bread. And so yeah, and so I think baked goods, cookies probably came about around the same time that the French were here.
Yeah, maybe.
So I think that there's a bit of that, but it's with local ingredients and a little different.
And then there's also there's the jackfruit flavored cookies and the mango flavored cookies and the durian flavored cookies and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's candy like that too, but a lot of that is sort of touristy-ish.
Yeah.
I think locals enjoy it, but I think it's not.
They're for the tourists.
Yeah, and I think that they were designed for tourists, and then locals sort of developed a taste for durian taffy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but
But there are sort of more traditional cookies.
Yeah.
That you can find in the local markets.
Yeah, actually, you can find them in grocery stores too.
Yeah.
In
the local food section.
Yeah. But it's sweet is definitely the way. Almost all their cookies and all their snacks are sweet. Except there's a lot of sweet chips too. Like you find like sort of sweet. There's sort of generally like a very sort of thick barbecue sweet flavor on them. On a lot of chips, not all of them, but they do exist. And then there's popcorn. Almost all their popcorn is sweet. Like I've seen them selling it on the street, and it's kind of got a sweet.
Oh my God! There's popcorn street vendors everywhere.
Everywhere. It's very popular with cotton candy too.
Yeah, but the street food here is quite spectacular because like they're little moving kitchens, and I once saw a guy they attached these sort of cooking / glass display cases to motorcycles with like a little umbrella over them, and I've seen them driving down the street in rainstorms with the umbrella open to keep them dry or partly dry, and I've actually seen them driving down the street with the fire still going and cooking stuff while driving.
I've seen lots of times where, because these are like, so this is done with like charcoal and these like little sort of clay oven type things that direct the heat. And they're lit all the time, so you'll see them riding their bikes with
the motorcycle.
Riding the motorcycles with the kitchen attached, with the flames shooting out of the motorcycle or out of the kitchen part. And it's just like, you don't put it out because I guess it takes a long time to heat up. So
Maybe.
Why would you?
But notionally, they were going home and like.
I think they might be going to a different place to sell food.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty amazing.
The other thing you find a lot here, and I haven't tried this yet, and I don't know if I will because I'm a little nervous about it, is the meat drying out.
I was going to ask you if you're going to talk about the jerky.
Yeah, so there's a sort of like jerky beef, and the thing is if you go out on the streets in the morning, particularly, you go out and there's basically raw meat everywhere, just on the streets.
Just lying out to dry.
Sometimes like literally on the street.
Often clothed like on cardboard boxes and stuff.
Yeah. But literally just sitting out, you'll find.
And flies everywhere.
Yeah. And it's.
I can't do it. I can't bring myself to
Yeah. I mean, I
love meat and all, but.
I like to eat like fun things and daring things, but like to me that just seems like a recipe for food poisoning.
Yeah.
Or at least, like my body is not prepared for that.
Yeah. I think if you grew up with it, maybe it's okay because like you're.
Obviously, I mean, it happens everywhere, and you're not seeing people throwing up every night.
Yeah.
So obviously, people can build a resistance to this, but I'm not that person.
No.
So I'm just a little bit leery about trying it.
Grew up in the land of bleach.
Yeah. That's the one thing you learn definitely about living in a place like this, is how insanely clean everything is.
Well, they call like there's like the Montezuma's Revenge or whatever, Traveler's Diarrhea. And you know what? When people from countries like here in Pakistan, we lived in Pakistan as well, when they go to North America, they get sick.
Yeah.
Because their guts aren't used to the kinds of like microorganisms that we have. So it's not that one or the other is dirtier. It's just what your body and your system is used to.
Yeah, and I think maybe when you're growing up, it's what you can sort of develop a resistance to when you're young.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else Cambodian. I mean, lots of
with the rat that we almost ate.
Yeah, we had a chance. We had an almost chance to eat rat, which I would have loved to have tried.
But they were country rats, not city rats.
Yeah.
So they were grass fed and grain fed, not.
It's funny. I wouldn't eat beef that's sitting out, but I would try a rat.
Yeah, we were looking forward to that, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Well, knock wood. We still have a little bit of time. Maybe it'll happen.
What about the junk food that they have here, like the fast food restaurants?
A lot of Western restaurants. Pizza's very popular here.
Yeah. But the pizza company is Thai.
But pizza's very popular here. Like a lot of
a lot of the chains that you see are Asian chains. Like the Shaburi,
There's a lot of shabu, but there's also like Carl's Jr.
There's Carl's Jr.
Burger King. But there is no McDonald's. This is one of the few countries in the world where there is no McDonald's.
Pepper Lunch, that's an Asian chain.
I think so.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
I get really confused. There's no Tim Hortons here.
No Tim Hortons, no McDonald's.
There's Tim Hortons in Shanghai.
But the fact that there's no McDonald's is actually something pretty amazing. Like.
Oh, I've been to other places without McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah.
What country?
I think South Africa.
I think South Africa might have McDonald's.
But maybe in the 90s when the first time I went.
Okay, but even now, it's like.
I'm not convinced there's McDonald's in Australia. Oh yeah, there is.
There is.
In the airport, anyway.
Yeah. But it is.
I have been in other places without McDonald's, though.
Yeah. And every once in a while, I have a little
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, there's lots of Dairy Queen here. Every once in a while, I have a little fantasy about like what would be the Cambodian McDonald's food. What would be their specialty thing?
Yeah, and there's Yoshinoya here, which is a Japanese chain. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's gone. I haven't seen a Yoshinoya.
Airport has one.
Still? Okay.
Last time we were there, it did. We'll double check.
And Park Cafe is also.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like Asian stuff.
It sort of opens your eyes to like, you think of like the franchising world being very Western, but it's like here in franchises that we'd never heard of before.
Speaking of franchises, coffee is very popular here.
Yeah, that's true.
Coffee is very popular. Starbucks is very much around, and then
there's a million coffee shops.
Yeah.
There's Phnom Penh has like 2.5 million people and has 1 million coffee shops.
Yeah. It's amazing how many coffees, which is kind of nice because sometimes they have nice little baked treats and stuff like that. And some of the some of the teas are good. I like iced teas. I'm not a big coffee drinker, so.
Yeah. And again, a bunch of chains. Like some of them are local chains, like where it's like one person opened up a coffee shop and then they opened up 5 more in the city.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. And then there's like sort of national chains and international chains.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Amazon is a big Thai chain.
And Joma.
Joma is Lao and Cambodia only.
Mm-hmm.
The owners are Lao Canadians.
Yep.
Canadian Lao.
So there's definitely coffee is a big part of the culture here. Like everybody drinks coffee. Like you always see.
And the most common place to go to get your coffee is the gas station.
Gas stations are packed.
Yeah.
With people getting coffee. A lot of those chains might have little versions inside the. I've seen.
Yeah, some of them do. Yeah.
Some of them do, and then some of them just it's the actual.
But the thing is like to go to the gas station in the morning and get your coffee on your way to work and maybe sit and talk to your friends for a few minutes.
Yes.
Breakfast is a big deal here.
Mm.
Like there's places you can go where you will never find, like Pakistan, you would not find a restaurant open for breakfast. So if you were traveling, you needed to get a hotel that had breakfast.
Yeah.
But here, like breakfast is like people go out for breakfast all the time.
A lot of street food. Like in the mornings, I remember when I used to walk around in the mornings, I used to find a lot of street food places that had breakfast.
Yeah.
And I mean, breakfast is different. Sometimes breakfast is chicken and rice. So it's not always like, you're not talking bacon and eggs or cereal.
But definitely coffee. And you can get coffee to go in these like adorable little plastic bags that are bottomless.
With just a little handle.
Yeah, it's like a little handle, and it's a ring of plastic that goes around your coffee cup, because mostly iced coffee, and like little handles like a plastic bag. So it's like you need to, and it hangs onto your motorcycle handlebars quite nicely.
Perfect for the environment.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I mean I think that's a pretty good. I think that's about it for Cambodia.
Really good smoothies in Siem Reap.
Really good smoothies. Actually, there's good smoothies here too. The place we go to regularly, the Backyard Cafe, has really good smoothies too.
Oh, that's true.
So there's definitely. I mean, that goes with the same argument with the dried fruit.
Yeah.
Like there's just really good ingredients for that stuff here.
We went to a dragon fruit orchard, and we got to pick our own dragon fruit.
It was so good. It's weird because you don't really think about dragon fruit. It's an ugly little fruit. And you don't really think of it as growing.
Yeah. It's like, people in Canada were going strawberry picking, and we were like hacking dragon fruits off of a cactus tree.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's really fun. And they're full of ants.
Yeah. Dragon fruits. A few times I've cracked dragon fruits at home and found a couple of ants crawling on it. Yeah. So.
Fresh dragon fruit is just unbelievable.
The thing here too is they have the purple dragon fruit.
And they have they have a number of varieties of mangoes. Their mangoes are very good, but still the best mangoes I've ever had were in Pakistan.
Part of the problem with the mangoes here is the fact that they pick them too early.
They like them not quite ripe.
Yeah, they like them sour and hard.
Yeah.
And they put a bit of salt on it.
Yeah, and sometimes pepper. Not pepper, like red pepper.
Yeah, like red pepper and salt on a sour. That just sounds like the worst culinary idea ever.
But it's actually not bad. If you like hot and if you like sour, it's pretty good.
Yeah, if you don't like sweet, that's fruity thing you can enjoy.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road. We talked about Cambodia As always, you can follow us on Twitter at CandyCritic, or go to candycritic.org and find links to all of our other social media, including Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr.
And Whatler?
Tumblr. We're on Tumblr.
That's nothing like Grindr or Tinder, right?
No, it's nothing like any of those. You can also go to patreon.com/candycritic, and you can follow us there for all kinds of bonus content and things like that. Recently, we posted our episode of Chris, Why Would You Eat That?, where I ate the spider with Linda, and as a bonus feature for our patrons, they got to see me eat the head. So they got like a little extra bonus piece of footage. So check out our Patreon page, and be sure to, for as little as $1, you can see all this bonus content. But thanks for listening to another episode of Junk Food on the Road, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I wanna bury you in 6 feet of sugar. I wanna watch you come back to me. With every step I pray it doesn't rain. My own candy mountain. They say things don't last, but hey, I've always holding my candy. Not much of a sweet tooth anyway. I wanna bear you 6 feet of sugar, honey. I wanna bear you 6 feet of sugar, honey.